It's going to be showing you a solo Grandmaster Nightfall on a Warlock, the Exodus Crash. This is mainly for just people to get the triumph done solo. We also end up getting platinum anyways, so there's that. You'll see all the champion spawns and you'll see how to do the boss. Various ways of doing this, but if you do it this way, the way I'm doing it, you can do this on any class, Titan, Warlock or Hunter. I just chose Warlock. I still recommend that Warlock's the best one just because of healing. Yeah, you need to heal because obviously Titan has less ways to heal. Hunter will be top tier. There's no doubt about it. So I'm thinking of a strat right now for a Hunter, making it probably the easiest of the three. But having said that, we're doing it on a Warlock. So in terms of our build, we're using a Warmind cell build, full in. We have not got a Warmind weapon on, so we can't make cells via that, but we can with our solo subclass. We've got Global Reach, Wrath of Rasputin, Rage of Rasputin. Those three combined means we can get cells, which are also doing solo splash damage. So we can generate that via our nade. We can't via our weapons because our weapons, we've got a Nightwatch with overload shot in it, and then we have Anti-Barrier Pulse, which is a solar one. Just because there's solar shields. Match games on like any other Nightfall, but there's no shields apart from solar shield in terms of elemental one, which is surprising. All the arc and stuff are gone because they are taken by overload. So you've got to consider, you know, a bit of solar definitely, and other than that, you just want a really powerful loadout. So we're using double primary Anarchy. Why are we using that? Because it's the best thing for this in the game. If you don't have Anarchy, I would strongly recommend just going in fire team doing this if you really want the triumph and you want the conqueror. But you can do it without Anarchy as well. It's just going to be a little harder and a bit longer. Like my run even was really long and I'm using Anarchy. But the strat that I'm doing is really slow, but it's consistent. Very consistent strat this. Everything's fast up until the boss, and then when we get to the boss it slows down tremendously. So with this section, you want to be careful of the snipers because arc damage is increased. We've got a arc chest plate on with double arc resistance, which means that they don't one-shot us. They would one-shot us if we didn't have that on. So it's highly recommended you get the arc chest plate on. Like I said, we've got a Warmind build on. We've also got Power of Rasputin and Warmind's Protection. These two mods give us a damage buff and protection when there's a cell up, and the enemies will glow to tell you that that's working. Why I've got that on is because sometimes I might leave a cell up, sometimes the cell might roll out of my direction, meaning I can't shoot the cell down, which happens quite a bit, especially at the playroom, meaning that I get some benefit out of it even if it rolls away from me, which can happen. And like I said, we're using the Stag, the exotic helmet, so we get Rift Energy when we get critically wounded, which happens a lot in a Grandmaster Nightfall. You know, you're often getting close to one shot. When that happens, if you run max recovery, you get infinite healing rest. If you don't have max recovery, it's a little bit less than infinite. It might be a couple of seconds between rifts. The better you recover, it's the best start in the game anyway, so you may as well run max recovery. You don't need to run high discipline so much, I guess I was, but you don't need to because I've got another mod on called Surge Eater. But Surge Eater and Thermal Overload. This handles, it does a lot of work for the Overload champions. Every time we stun a champion we get our nade back, but we also can stun champions with solar or stasis nade. This means we can, the nade is doing a dual purpose there. It's not only doing damage, but it's overloading the champion. Now, you can do this with stasis. A guy I know has done it with stasis, which was top tier solo, like better than mine, very excellent. Thing is though, is with the stasis nades, they're not doing damage over time. They're constantly stun locking that champ, but they're not doing the damage over time. Whereas the solar grenade are stunning and doing damage over time. So for me, my playstyle a little bit better. However, the stasis nades have other benefits, like a lot of benefits. So it just depends. Whatever your playstyle is, you can do it with stasis or you can do it with solar. You can do it with Voidwalker as well. I'm sure I've seen a Voidwalker run. That would be pretty powerful with the controverse hold sort of build. So every time you stun the champ, you can get your OP nade back. But you would need your scout rifle shot on point. You also need to have a Nightwatch with explosive payload. Put a major spec in it because that buffs damage to champions. So now we can literally take out a champion with our scout alone. Obviously we've got the pulse rifle on as well, a solar one. Stars in shadow. This has disruption break on it, so it has some utility. We're setting up an anarchy trap there to try and kill all these marauders. We haven't got all the pulse waves. Don't collect them all, because this is an easy way of doing this first part. The first section is just killing all snipers from distance. Just strafe while you're shooting at them. They don't even shoot you back if you're far enough away. This first spawn though, like I said, don't pick up all arc pulse waves. We'll set our anarchy traps. Like so. We'll get a reload. We've got a well Radiance as well there to use. We will use it. Be efficient with your ammo as well. Like, don't be using too much ammo, because we haven't got anywhere means of getting that back. We haven't got Spores of War on, so. And then you get the last wave, and then the ad spawning. The anarchy trap will deal with pretty much all the ads. Obviously we've done a well there as well. Well Radiance. We can just basically melt everything down. This champ was wanting to sort of teleport. He didn't even teleport away, just ran away. A little bit weird, but we followed him. Got the second disruption, and we're just going to keep putting scout shots on him. Now, this isn't like a Master Nightfall, it isn't like a Legend Nightfall where you can tank a bit of damage. You can't tank much at all. An up close burst off this champ, or any of the champs, would just melt you down instantly. You've got to be wary of strafing. You've got to be playing completely different to what you normally would. But it's one of those things you'd have to practice and practice. The main thing is just getting down this section and the plate room. That's pretty much all there is to the run, and then it's just the boss fight. So it's not that long, but the boss fight is kind of long, and there is a lot of champs in this. There's loads of overload, so that eats up all your time. So enough about the builds and mods, more about what we're actually doing. So we took down the trip mines. Why do we do that? Well, they'll one-shot you if you get close enough. We don't want that to happen. I'm always playing a gamble with this. I'll use my nade when I can to get a cell, because I haven't got a Warmind weapon. Generally I would run a Warmind weapon, but because of what I'm doing at the end, it'll make more sense if I've got a pulse on. If I wasn't doing the way I'd done it at the end, I would be using Icolos SMG or probably Seraph. I prefer the Seraph one at times for endgame, like for Grandmaster. I like Icolos more for the trash mob side of it, but I like the Seraph a little bit more for endgame. That's a bit more of it. As you can see, I got a cell there from the nade off the champ. Now that's guaranteed. If we kill any champs with our solar nade, we let them burn out from the solar nade, that's a cell. We can manipulate that. I could have manipulated that more than what I did in the full run. But sometimes you've got to burst a champ down, and you can't dilly-dally with them. You can't just, you know, or wait for them to burn out, because sometimes you don't have the time for that. Sometimes you need to get back into cover. So it isn't always a thing. It just depends on how many champs you're fighting. Like right now we're fighting one champion and a couple of ads. Knowing the ad spawns of this will help you out massively, and you need to learn them. It's as simple as that. You can't, it's very easy to learn them, I guess. Just watch this run or someone's run on it and just watch it. I know it might be long. Most solos are 45 minutes to an hour long and plus, so I understand that, but if somebody really wants this, they're gonna watch the video that long to find out everything. If they're skipping, you know, or I'll just see what the boss strat's like. That's no good to you, because you need to see everything. You need to see what the playroom is, which I'll do my best to explain. What I'm doing. What I'm doing there is just doing one shot at a time with Nightwatch, which you see me do that often. Strafing in out of cover, just so one shot, strafing in and out, and you pace out your overload shots there a bit better. If you want to get a God Roll Nightwatch, just get it from the New Light campaign if you haven't got one. You need one with explosive payload. It's the most consistent sort of weapon to be overloading with. A scout with no explosive payload, you'll notice a huge difference between the two. Not only that, you do more damage, and I've got major spec in both weapons, because champions are the priority, not trash mobs in terms of damage. So now we're on to the plate room. Now there is a modifier on, I guess, seems seems like Scorched Earth's on. I can't remember if it is. Basically where the ads are more likely to throw nades. That seems to be a thing. Definitely. Like, I'm getting spammed here by nades. What I'm trying to do as well is get a Warmind cell off them shanks. Now, it's Russian roulette whether I do or not. It just depends. But the way of doing it is just... You'll see me, I do end up getting one or two on other spawns. But we want to always go for that gamble because it's a big plus. If we get a cell, we can take that cell and it takes out all the ads, making everything a lot easier. Because what's happening here is, I can't really confront these champions properly because I keep getting arc naded. Now an arc nade will set me back to below half health. One arc nade. If two hit us, that's a death. If one hits us and the champion hits us at the same time, that's a death. All this stuff. Now you see a perk proc nearly departed. That's our healing rift procking. So right now I should be popping way more healing rifts than I am and making better use of my exotic. But I was trying to concentrate on getting ads down. And the way you can do that easily when you're stuck in this position like this, by getting stuns on champions, then get your nade up. I wouldn't recommend spamming too much Anarchy, you know, because chances are the ads just going to run out of your Anarchy, and you can't really see the ads because they kind of hide. And a nade will just sort of clear them a bit better. And what you'll find is the ads will group up towards a champion that's been stunned. Once you get a stun on a champion, all the ads will come from cover, and then they'll just sort of try to fight you because that's what they want to do. It's smart AI. All the AI is a lot smarter on Grandmaster. Now we've got a well to use, so we're going to use it here. I wouldn't have recommended using a well right at the start because you would have had too much fire at you and you would have died in the well. So say 2 grenades hit us, a load of marauders pushed and the champion, we would die in our well. We don't want that. And some champions, what's interesting, some of them do arc, some of them do solar. The arc ones are more dangerous than the solar ones because of the mods. Get a stun on both of them, which is really good, but we're going to concentrate on one. Don't try and do both. Just how it played out. Our well wasn't the best because the marauders pushed us. It's just sort of a thing that they do, but we were able to at least get some leverage. We also got a cell here. We'll shoot that cell. Done. Now there's 2 things I could have done there. I could have left that cell up and then just used the DPS of Power Rasputin to do more damage on the champ. But I didn't know how many marauders were alive. I didn't know if there's any dregs left and all that stuff. So I'd rather do that to test the waters, see what actual ads are up. Because when there's no more ads and there's only me and a champion, it's safe. You can do a lot of your damage from back there. The only thing is, that champion was in a bad place for me, so I'm going to push up. But it's safe-ish. This is your secondary place you go to. I only recommend doing this when there's only you and one champion. Now I've done 3 Anarchies there. The 2 on the floor, 1 on his head. That's pretty consistent. It means that essentially you're less likely to blow Anarchy up. So that's a key thing you need to know with Anarchy, is that Anarchy is not very effective if you say plant 2 Anarchy shots to a champ, then you start scouting him and the explosive payload explodes the Anarchy shots before they can do maximum damage. So what's probably best is hitting them at the legs and then on the floor and then hit them in the head. Crit. That's the best case scenario. Anarchy caps out at 2 shots damage wise. It doesn't do any more if you do 3, but it's a little bit more consistent for the chain damage if you do the 3. Ideally, but you can't be doing 3 Anarchy shots per champ. You just won't have the ammo for that. So there's ways and means. But if you're desperate to kill a champ, that's the best case scenario. Do 3 Anarchy shots, 2 on the floor, 1 at his legs or 1 at his head, whichever you want, and then just lay into him with the scout. Now we've come back here for this particular champion. Now what I'm doing with this plate room, there's a lot going on here, so it's hard to cover it all, I guess. But the plate room has a number of adds based to the plate, and it works in percentages. Now the first percentage might be 5 to 10%. You jump off the plate as soon as you get an ad spawn. You jump off the plate. You kill all your ads. You kill the champion. You step back on the plate. As soon as one ad comes out, you jump off the plate, because what will happen is you'll get 2 ad spawns at once, meaning you'll have like 2 to 3 champion overloads to kill, and then all these ads firing nades at you, and it's just making it harder for you. This is a slow way of completing it, but it's a slow run anyway, so I'm not fussed. The full run in my eyes is long anyways. If you're doing a Nightfall in 40 minutes, any Nightfall, doesn't matter what it is, that's a long run. Like, I've been doing these Nightfalls since Destiny 1, and any Nightfall that was like 40-50 minutes long, I regarded it as a tough Nightfall, and something that you get to pay attention to. These Grandmasters are kind of like that. Now, some of them are shorter than others. But it's just sort of how they want, what Bungie wants with it. That's what people want with it, so I guess we get what we want with it. This champion you gotta watch. That's why we always back off on the stairs. Sometimes the champs can be sort of random like that and push you, or even teleport on top of you. So just always be ready to back up. Just gonna keep putting 1 or 2 shots in. Doing it this way just means it's safe, because we can isolate champions from ads. Ideally you want to take out all ads first, but on this particular spawn, because I know this spawn, Greg's will stay on the right side. So I've seen the champ was on the left and he was starting to be a nuisance, so I just went for the finisher, and then I knew I'd be safe enough with these ads. Ammo's a big thing as well. Like every time you're looking for every time you spawn in the next wave of ads, think, right, how many heavy bricks have gone on the floor? Right, I've got 1 there, I've got 1 there. And if you've got any in the previous room, stuff like that. On our last wave before halfway, when it's 50%, we all know we get servitors. Obviously they're not void servitors, but they're anti-barrier champions. Now I have a good strat for it, but I don't believe it worked out the way I wanted it to. Not on this run anyways. But I will explain the best way of doing it. We end up getting a cell there because the ads glowing. We'll destroy that cell. It'll do damage to the rest of the ads. And we'll wait for 50%. Next wave of ads. Now, before you start trying to fight the champions, and also don't be using any wells. You do not need a well. The anti-barrier champions are not threatening at all. So it's not needed. You'd rather use your well at a more important point, which I'll point that out when we get to it. But why I'm waiting back is because we have 2 spawns of Arch Shanks. So we want to get the initial spawn, because if we need to run back for whatever reason, we're going to get trapped by these Shanks. Just get rid of him. We don't want them there. Okay? Now we're going to deal with the champions. The better one to take is the left one, in my eyes. I'm going to do 1 Anarchy shot first, just to test the waters. Not only that, if you try to do 2, the anti-barrier will actually teleport out of your second one sometimes. It's better to get like 2 Anarchy shots on your after your first shield break, and then go with it. We get a cell there, so actually I think my strat did end up working out. So my idea was to get a cell, a nade kill on the champ, to then get a cell, get on the plate immediately, to back up from the ads, and then we can take that to clear out all them ads as you just saw it all come up. We've even got 2 cells, which I didn't anticipate. We'll take it, and then we got another cell to proc back there. But you're on a timer there, and there's 3 overload champions approaching, so that's why it's urgent to proc that cell and get it back. Once we've done that, you want to make sure you've got plenty of Anarchy, because this is where you're going to kind of spam Anarchy here. You want to come to this corner of the wall, pretty consistent. Make sure you got your nade up, which I'm kind of waiting on. Because the nade you can kind of throw and get back to cover, whereas your scout's going to take 2 to 3 consistent shots on a champ, which which is a little bit more dangerous when there's 3 of them there. But we're not popping well until we get a stun. We'll get a stun, we'll pop well straight away, and then you want to do Anarchy. Just do as much as you can, because it's more likely to stagger them. It won't do more damage, but it's more likely to stagger them. Less likely for them to teleport, meaning it's going to be easier for you. Understanding the AI of these overloads is the key thing, which I haven't done the runs I've done on it. Practice I have done on it. Kind of learned how they react in this. So for me, it's run of the mill for me now for this. But obviously you've got to test out strats to see what would work best for people. And this is going to work out best for people, but for most people. But obviously go to your playstyle always. But this is what works best for myself anyway. So those are the 3 overloads. I would easily take them. And we're going to just peek in and out, peek shoot like that. Just stops any regen. There's now a shot. We were a little bit too slow, so as you can see, there's not much room for error with it. I was pretty much on point, but he still regens, so I was maybe a little bit too slow with the pace. That's the last champ. Got plenty of ammo on the floor, which is great. We've got another anti-barrier champion to take down, so basically the 3 overloads spawn after the first anti-barrier is taken out. That's how that works. That's why it wasn't a good idea to do a well for these anti-barriers. So as I said, the anti-barriers aren't really threatening. We'll do a healing though, just in case. The shanks won't push us, so that's good. We're just going to leave them. Get our first shield break, then we'll re-Anarchy up. So we've got 2 on there. Try not to explode the Anarchy, which is easy done, so try not to. And the same strat here is, we want to try to get a Warmind cell off this champ. Obviously for us, it's solar nade, which I just needed a little bit too soon. So this is where I sort of messed up. I didn't get the cell when I wanted it. So I had to kill the champ regardless. That's fine. It's not so much messing up, it's just that it just means it's going to take me longer to clear the ad. But we can always get a second cell off the electric shanks, which there's a high chance of you doing that. It isn't always. It's solar splash damage. It's one of those things. And plus they're not made, you know, they're not yellow bars, they're just red bars. The way you want to do that every time is get them weak and then nade them, like so. And then it's RNG if you get one or not. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. On this particular spawn you'll find there's a lot of vandals, so I wouldn't immediately melt the champion down, or try to. I would just get a couple of stuns and just keep nading in that direction, because all the vandals, even though you can't really see them, they hang around the champion. So they just sit in your nades, so as you can see we can just quickly get them, because trying to melt down a champ when there's 3 vandals firing at you, it can be dangerous. And obviously, with Surge, it just means we have unlimited solar nades that way. So it's really good. We're going to go for this stun, but it didn't end up working out because of the angle. So try to get a better angle. He went slightly to the right, meaning I couldn't get any angle on him at all. Which means he'll just fully rage him. That's fine. We didn't waste much ammo on it. Let the champ sort of reset. We've let him do that. He's moved over to the left. Good. Get our 2 Anarchy shots, then we're just pacing our shots. Like so. If you do it correctly, that's how it should go every time. Do it like that. And then we can re-nade up. Like that. Now we got a cell there as well, which is ideal. But what happened here is I blew the cell up before I wanted to. I didn't realise that would actually do that. I thought it would be another burst before we took it down, but okay. So on this phase there is no champs, there's just the solar shank and electric shank. That's literally all there is. There might be a couple of dregs or something. Same thing again here, we'll try and go for a cell, test our luck. The shanks aren't sitting in the nade fully, so fine. At the end of the world, we've got a soul weapon for this. So you want to take down the shield, and then there's 2 Anarchy shots. Usually takes the shank out. A couple of vandals as well, which I didn't realise was. Another thing as well, with the overload in your scout, try to use that more than the pulse. Reason being is when you're overloading that ad, they're doing reduced damage to you, even though they're not a champion. The overload mod works on all ads. So it's better to be sort of priming with your scout rather than pulse too much. The pulse is just there sort of because we have to, because of the anti-barrier. That's the only reason. If there wasn't, I'd be running something else. Okay, so that's final ad down for that. We'll get some ammo. Make sure you're always filling up on primary as well. There's nothing worse if you're back here, you've got no scout rifle ammo, because obviously we're doing a lot of overload back from where the stairs are. Okay, so around 80 to 90%, that is the last wave of ads for the plate room. This time there's going to be 2 solar shanks and a champion to deal with. Then again, we're going to come back, we'll prep the shanks, take these out. One thing I haven't mentioned is that certain phases, overloads will push you, certain phases they won't. So for example, there was 3 overload champions earlier that pushed me all the way to the stairs that I'm past. Right? And they do that all the time. The champion that's on their own, like this one for example, and has a lot of ads around the champion, will sit at the back of the map. They won't push. It's just how they do. So you've got to know when they push and when they don't. The single champions won't so much. I mean, sometimes they'll get close-ish, but some phases in particular, they just sit back like this one. We have a half decent angle on this champ, so we can just see what kind of pace our shots. As you saw, I got really weak there. Make sure you pop more healing rates than what I did, as you can get a bit more confident than what I should be at times. So try to proc a bit more in terms of that. This champion was in a good angle and then he moved sort of thing, but we've managed to keep him overloaded. And at this point, we're just going to clear out the remaining fallen vandals. There's nothing much with that. So that's the bulk of the run really. Once we get to, I guess there's the fallen tank and then there's the room before the farm. So I suppose that's included. But after that, once you get to the boss, you're pretty much golden. You've got it done at that point. As long as you know everything about what you need to do with it though, which I'll detail when we get there. So with this section, there's no score that can be earned, of course. Pretty obvious. The thing is, this is very dangerous, this section right here, because we are in a public zone, meaning that it's not the strike, but the Grandmaster modifiers are still active. Therefore, you can still get 1 shot or 2 shot. They deal a lot of damage to you. So this right here for me can wipe my run. I was lucky, but also had good movement to get out of the way. I wanted to go left first, but I couldn't, so we went over the hill first, and we're going to get up high. Getting up high is the best place you can be. As we get up high, what's interesting is the damage you take is the same as a Grandmaster, but the damage the enemies take is like a public world. They're not tanky, even though they've got swords on. They're not. This is what general ads are like, but they do insane damage to you. So I just find that interesting, really, to be honest. We have a not a champion, but a mini boss here, but we don't want to be wasting ammo on him or messing about. We're just here for the pulse waves. That's literally it. We get the pulse waves on the left. Then when we're gonna go over to right side, make sure that if there's any pikes, literally takes 5-10 seconds. It's totally worth your time. If you try and run over there, 2 shanks get hold of you, especially if you're on your Sparrow. It's a one-shot wipe, straight to orbit, straight to orbit. So never Sparrow unless you know exactly what's around you, what's going on. Because like I say, on your Sparrow's weak. It'll just one-shot and then blow up and then blow you up. Done with the shank part. So not the shank, the tank part. This section you've got to be wary of because there's a couple of snipers and they can one-shot you on your Sparrow. There's a sniper in the right, like not in the right but in the middle platform that I'm just passing now. He actually nearly snipes me. So don't do what I'm doing, just run. You see that shot right there? That would have ended the run, but he missed. So look it. There's also a sniper. You're going to end up seeing the second sniper as well, but he's over there with the ad spawn. But you don't really need to deal much with him because we're going to do damage from this location here. The ship can also kill you right above. So just be careful of that. Let the ship go first. We'll do some Anarchy shots. Try and attach 2 to 2 legs. 1 to a leg apiece. If the sniper's looking at you, just try and deter the sniper, but the sniper generally won't attack us from it. We can also get a disruption break. This is pretty good because my solar pulse rifle has disruption break, so I can get this 50% damage on my Nightwatch. Yeah. That was kind of good doing that, but just be careful of the heavy shanks because they do a lot of damage. As you saw, he got me one shot. Just be careful, always. That. I wasn't sure if the heavy shank would actually come right up here, so I ended up taking the heavy shank out. But the thing is with the tank's going to be preoccupied with the Vex boss in front. So that's pretty good. That's it. I would advise using some Anarchy here because you don't want to be in this public zone too long. Things could happen, I don't know, pikes could ambush you. So just be careful, don't sit around, like I wasn't 100%, but I just like to get the tank down and get out of this place. Just in case, like I say, if there's an Arach sniper that comes over us, like unexpectedly. Tank's pretty weak. If the tank ever faces you to do his attack, just get out of the way. That's the biggest thing. And that's pretty much the tank down. We used 10 Anarchy shots, so that's the ballpark you want to use, not much more than that. There's other ways of doing damage, get a Sparrow and stuff, but I didn't opt for that, just use Anarchy. Make sure you're full up on ammo, everything's good, especially Overload Scout because you're going to need some of that. You're going to need plenty of Scout for this next room. This is the room before the final boss. Showing you how to do this. So the first thing you want to do, and there's a good chance you might get a Warmind cell if you do it, if you explode that barrel right there, you can sometimes get a cell, which we didn't. But if you do, after that, destroy the cell straight away. We also got a stun on a champion here early-ish, but weren't fast enough with it. That was fine. We'll just back up. Quite dangerous. Champion spawns back up on us. That's good. We'll get him. We'll put some ammo in. We don't mind spending the ammo just to get him down, just to get him out of the way. Fine. It's a real good location to take the champ. If you can get him there, that's the best place to do that. If you can get a cell off him as well, that's even better, but we didn't. Any remaining ants take out, and then we can proceed to the final bit. Now this bit can be dicey because the ad spawns are based on where you stand. So there'll be a bunch of snipers, there's like 2 orange bar snipers and a couple of melee snipers. But when they spawn in, you're in an awkward place. You can't really see much, and the sniper can jump from one perch to another perch. Now, because we're down here, we can't really see what that sniper's doing. So you always look up just to make sure, but the sniper will spawn once you get to where I'm aiming down sights at now. The sniper will actually spawn in. When that sniper spawns in, you need to sort of prioritize the sniper. The sniper will take you down pretty quick. Like I said, 2 quick shots and it's over. So you do not want that happening, especially after 35 minutes of doing the hard stuff. Because to be honest with you, the hardest part of the whole run is the plate room, especially the 3 overload Modifiers. If you can master the plate room, you can do this. Okay? There's 2 different ways as well of doing the boss that I know of anyways. Get into that when I get there. We're going to do a well here because we have no use for a well. We can't use a well after this anyway, so I'll just use it here. Good place to use it. We can safely take out the sniper and those ads that were being awkward. Then to get the next wave of ads, you need to jump to another platform, which will see as follows. Any mines as well, shoot those, of course. Pretty common sense like that. This spawns in the next wave of ads, particularly the sniper. Sniper will jump over like so. We can hide behind this box. He can't really snipe you here, but you can get shots on him. Always strafe though, that's the biggest thing. Don't worry about ammo at this point. I know that we're approaching a final boss and we need a lot of ammo, but you don't, because of a mechanic that I'll detail. Some people know about, some people don't. If you get a cell there, do not shoot the cell. Don't even be shooting any cells when you get to this room. Because the reason for that is the way to exploit this boss. We'll call it an exploit because it is. That's what it is. There's different exploits to use. You can use the exploit where you stand where an Arach charges and you use the Stag, and you can keep getting infinite healing rift. However, that strategy requires a high attention to detail. It's not just a cheese, it's a cheese that's hard. Like all the work's not done. As soon as you get to the cheese spot, it's done. No, it isn't. It's very difficult. So I don't recommend that one unless you're extremely good at solo and Grandmasters. If not, then the exploit that I'm going to show you now is more welcome to most. So the way to get up there, once you get up there as well, do not jump down. If you get up there and part way through the fight you jump down, you've pretty much wrote off your solo. There's ways and means of getting back up, but you've just made it 10 times harder because there's a blue door that comes up, there's a blue aura wave, and you get a no turning back message, and if you die to the no turning back message, that's it. It's a wipe. So this is where you can basically stand up here. This is where we're going to do most of our damage. Do not go too far right. If you go too far right, you'll fall off the map. If you go too far left, you'll fall off the map. Try to just stay where I'm standing.
What was that?
Now obviously this is pretty long because we're doing damage from up here, and the biggest thing with this exploit is ads hide a lot. That's what takes the time. It's not the difficult, like the difficulty out of this now is gone. Yeah, it's not so much that it's difficult now, it's just that the ads hide. It's your job to sort of seek them out, see where they are. It's just one of those things you've got to learn. But if you know how the boss works and if you know all the ad spawn, then you'll know what you're fighting against a little bit. Now I'm going to start speeding up the footage, just because it's me up here using my scout and Anarchy. That's basically all there is to it. But I would take the time, if I was you, to look at all the phases of the boss, see how the boss reacts, because it actually matters. So right now, obviously he's invis, he's just doing his usual thing, but he has got a ranged attack on him. At the end, he goes invis and you can hardly see him. Yeah? You can hardly see where he is, which you'll see that at the very end. Like, I struggle to see where the heck he is. At first, you know, you can see him. So just be wary of that. Ad spawns. Anytime you get ads, prioritize the ads. The boss can't really hit you so much. If he does, you can do a healing rift like so. You want to sort of crouch on this plate, take reduced damage. But ads first, because the reason for that is this. The way the ads work for this particular section is the ads are confident they are not threatened by you because the boss is up shooting at you. So the ads are more confident to shoot at you from range. So they're gonna run around the map looking for you. If you do all your damage, so that would be a third, the first phase is over after the third of the HP of the boss is gone. When you get to that phase, if there's still ads alive, the ads are just going to hide. They don't want to confront you at all because it's that thing called threat level. Call it threat level for this. So the threat level, they're threatened by you at that point because the ad has despawned, is no longer on the map. So try to leave the boss up as long as you can. I know he's annoying, he's always firing at you, but try and leave him as much as possible. Pick off any ads you see, but when you're confident that most ads are down, you can melt him down with Anarchy, of course, from up here, or Scout, whatever you wish. Now, obviously, you're going to run out of ammo as well. That's a thing. Obviously, you're going to run out of Scout Rifle, you're going to run out of Pulse Rifle ammo, you're going to run out of Anarchy. The thing is, when you run out of ammo, the game gives you ammo. If there's heavy bricks on the floor, you'll actually get that ammo. It's about 10 to 20 seconds you've got to wait, you'll eventually get ammo. And even if there is no heavy on the floor, you'll actually still get heavy. And you'll get primary, you get pulse, scout, everything. There are champions at the boss. There's only 2 that we need to take out. Which we'll do a commentary for that, but I'm not going to do a commentary for this whole thing, I guess, because it's pretty much straightforward here. Just don't jump down. You want to clear out all the ads. I'm looking for any ads that are still alive. The thing is, if you don't take out any ads that are hiding, you might be tempted to jump down. If you don't take out any ads that are hiding, if the phase can't start. Now the shanks don't have to be killed to initiate the next phase, but the dregs, wretches, vandals need to. I'm just looking around. I'm just venturing around just to see where are these ads, because it's just annoying me at this point. This is the only thing with this exploit, is that where they are, but when this is like my second go with this sort of thing, like actually trying this technique. I wasn't familiar with it fully, but some of the ads can hide behind the blue towers, but some of the ads can hide directly beneath you, which is hard to see. I end up getting the dreg. It's a stupid dreg hiding somewhere. I end up going too far left. Try not to do what I'm going to do right now. You see I nearly fall off because of this. Like I said, there's nothing you can do until you clear that final ad. There's literally nothing you can do. Going all far left. We find the ad here. We take him down. Well, he's weak. But what I notice is that I'm going too far left and I actually end up slipping down and not really realising. So, lesson learned from that, don't do that at all. Obviously this strat's going to take time anyway, so there's no rush. You didn't know a rush. We took down the final dreg, that'll initiate the next spawn of ads, which we're going to get, as it states, a champion has appeared. It'll be 2 champions. 2 champions, boss spawns, everything resets. That's great. Try and get in some boss damage while you can, because eventually the anti-barrier champions are going to wander over to the boss and make him, which is just a little bit annoying. But it's quite common sense now. I've got a pulse on. I've got the pulse on. You can take anti-barrier shields from up here. That's the whole purpose of it. If we had an SMG on, we're screwed. If it doesn't take the shield, it probably will. Probably will, but pulse is better. And not only that, it's better for clearing ads up here because if we run out of scout, then we've got a pulse to rely on. Pulse isn't as good as the scout, but at least it's something long range. That's pretty much all there is with this. So I won't provide commentary on the rest of it. I've sped this up just for people that can actually see the ad spawn, but you don't need to sift through an hour of it. Those are just the main points with it. Same goes with the champs. Obviously you're saving a little bit of anarchy for them, taking damage, shield break. But other than that, that was the run for people. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.
You should be. We've wiped your engineering deck clean.
Good work, guys. Okay, I've got Zavala mobilizing other teams to secure the ship behind you. There's gotta be some way I can pawn off this paperwork. Maybe Hawthorne will do me a solid.